Here we are, week 4, and the big question is, can this season be saved for the Raiders? I'll give you my take on this. Let's get right to it.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
I want to go over the final injury report. This came out Friday afternoon, and a few people are out for us. Of course, Foster Moreau with a knee injury. Hunter Renfrow still under the concussion protocol. He will not be playing this Sunday. Maybe the whole thing with Tua. And then a couple of our corners are questionable. Rocky Sin and Sam Webb, I think they'll play, but that's a little concerning because we are thin at the position. Now, as far as the Denver Broncos go, the only significant ones I'm going to talk about, Dalton Reisner, he's questionable, but it looks like he'll play. He had full practice today. Their other starting guard, Menertz, will be out. And then DJ Jones, the nose tackle, is also questionable. Limited practice. I'm going to get to that on the offensive side of the ball. Randy Gregory had a little bit of a knee issue, but he did have a full practice, so not so worried about that. The rest of the guys are backups. So let's go over the two keys to the game. And the first one, let's look at this matchup as far as the defense versus the Broncos offense. The Broncos offense has really sputtered these first 3 weeks. I know they played the Niners last week, but the other 2 weeks, Seattle, they're kind of a joke, to be honest with you. They have 3 touchdowns total in 3 games. They're the second worst scoring offense at 14.3 points per game, and they are dead last in the red zone, ironically, with a 14.3 percentage for touchdowns. That said, they're in the upper half as far as plays, times of possession, things like that. I think they're doing it much more so on the run game, and you can see that here. They're 12th right now as far as run yardage, and that's going to be my first key to the game. Now, Javontewilliams is starting. Melvin Gordon had a neck injury. It looks like he will be cleared to play. I'm going to guess this is probably going to be about a 70-30 split with Williams. So my first key to the game is we got to keep them under 100 yards combined rushing. They've had 100-yard rushing all 3 weeks, and that includes against the tough Niners run defense last week. To me, this is one of the biggest keys to the game because we can't let them get going. We can't let them sustain drives and then crank out field goals. They're not too impressive as far as scoring, and I think that's going to continue. And my second key to the game is going to be overall with the defense. I'm going to put that here. 3 sacks. I want to see at least 3 sacks. I want to see less than 18 first downs and no red zone touchdowns. That's totally doable in my opinion. I think the 3 sacks. Where's Chandler Jones? It's time to wake up at some point. Crosby's going to probably get a sack. And I want to see Bilal Nichols. I think the weakness of this offense is right here in the middle of this line. Now, I know they were pretty highly ranked by PFF coming into the season. They kind of came back to us so far these last 3 games, and Reisner is hurt. Garrett Bowles is probably their best offensive lineman, obviously, but up the middle, they can't be exploited, and that's where we need to come in and get those sacks and provide pressure on Russell Wilson. He still can scramble. Of course, he's not the same player he was before, and it's kind of showing. Like I said, this interior offensive line does not impress me much, to be honest with you. Now, if you are enjoying this, of course, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, especially if you're watching this on the replay. Not only that, you'll be notified of our next live stream, and of course, that's going to happen this Sunday afternoon. It's about 3 p.m. Pacific. That's about halftime. We start at 1:25, the game start. We're going to come in and do about 10 or 15 minutes, talk about these 4 keys of the game. I'm going to give you my good, my bad, my ugly. We're going to talk about this game and see how the Raiders are doing at the half. And I encourage you to come on out and join us.
And I hear everyone say it, take what they give you. We're going to take what we want.
Now on the offensive side of the ball, it's a little bit different. Of course, this is the strength of the Broncos, obviously. This defense reminds me very similar to the Chargers defense, where the strength of the team is the secondary and some of the edge rushing. I don't think they're as strong as the Chargers, but it's a similar kind of format. So if you watch my week 1 game preview, you should know there's going to be some similar keys to the game. And of course, the first one's going to be getting the running game going. I think we can exploit this. DJ Jones is hurt. These guys up the middle, this is the weak point right here, this front 7 in the middle. And not only that, we want to control the game. I'm not so worried as much as I was with Herbert in that high-powered offense, but still, we need to control the game. That's going to take some pressure off of this offensive line that he's still shuffling around. I think Illuminor will be starting this week. There's some talk earlier it was going to be Munford. McDaniels, I don't know what the hell he's doing. It's really kind of pissing me off. I've talked about this before in the offseason. We should have got some veteran help at the tackle position. We did not, and we're kind of suffering for it right now. We still have money under the cap, so I don't understand what he is doing, to be honest with you. To take heat off that offensive line and the pass rush, I want to get it to Josh Jacobs. Now, I put a combined goal. The last 3 games, they've ran it 13, 21, and 19 times. I want to see at least 25 total attempts at running the ball, and not just Josh Jacobs. I want to see Zamir White in there. I know Brandon Bolton's going to get his, Amir Abdullah. I don't know if Britton Brown's going to get any, but I'd like to see at least 5 or 6 plus from Zamir White. I want to see us pound this ball. I want to get over 100 rushing yards. Again, this is going to take some heat off. It's also going to get us into more manageable situations if we can run the ball, and I think up the middle is where we need to do it against this Broncos defense. Now, this Broncos defense is very stingy on first down. We cannot be passing the ball like we did against the Chargers, because we're going to be in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 situations. We're going to be punting the ball. I do not want to see this, Josh McDaniels. It's time to attack their weaknesses. And on this defense, the interior is the weakest part of this defense. Now, my second key to the game, I say Alfonso Ramirez. I'm worried about Hollins and Adams, but I think that's a 50-50. And it's funny because you mentioned that. That's going to be my second key to the game, because I think Adams is going to get his against Surtain. Surtain's great, but I want to look to these 2 guys. It's not just Mac Hollins. I'm looking for Darren Waller too. It's time to get some stickum. You dropped a lot of passes. Last week was mainly on you. Let's be honest here. Dropping the pass, causing the interception. The pass dropped at the end of the game, took the hit. That's what you're getting paid for. You got your money. It's time to perform now, Darren. But I'm going to combine these 2 because Mac Hollins is kind of coming out. He had kind of a coming out day. 8 catches, 158 yards, a touchdown. He was also targeted 11 times. That's 1 more target than Devontae had. So I want to look at combined goal, 15 targets, 10 receptions, over 100 yards receiving, at least 1 touchdown. Now, they actually did that last week. I want to see more of the same of that. I want to keep this Broncos team honest between running the ball and pounding it up the middle and getting it to these other targets. They won't be able to key in on us. Plus, Randy Gregory still has that knee injury. He's not 100%. I'm not so impressed with Bradley Chubb. I don't think he's going to do anything against Colton Miller. I think Colton Miller's going to take him out easy. I'm worried about Randy Gregory. Even at not 100%, he could do some damage for us. And of course, the blitzing. If they blitz, let's make them pay by throwing it to these alternative targets. So here's my prediction. You guys wanted my prediction. Alfonso, this is my prediction to the game. I think the Raiders are going to win this game 20-16. The Broncos are averaging 12 points a game. These games have always been close for several seasons now between these 2 teams. I think it's going to be kind of an ugly game. The Broncos defense is great. Their offense, not so much. The defense is going to keep them in this game, but I think the Raiders are going to come out on top. They got to have this win.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.